We've got one war, the war we can see and react with horror to the pictures on our television screens. There's another war, which is essentially a cyber war and other means. I mean, you've described in your book how the Russian government before, during and after the 2016 US presidential election stoked racial divisions, ideological and political polarization, and created a profound distrust of the government itself. Now, can we therefore see some link between Russian destabilization, if you like, and some of the tensions we now see in American society over things like Black Lives Matter?
Yes, we can. Not all of it can be attributed to the Russians, because there are some indigenous, if you will, polarization and tensions that could possibly be also a result of Russia's long-term operation to destabilize this country. There was a Soviet defector named Yuri Bezmenov who defected to the United States and disclosed that the Russians had a four-step program, which was a multi-year program intended to transform the American society from a capitalist free society into a totalitarian socialist society, not unlike the former Soviet Union. And so they infiltrated major institutions such as the labor unions, such as the, you mentioned Black Lives Matter, but even before that, it was the movement of Martin Luther King, and so eventually these seeds grew into plants and flowers, if you will. So what we have right now is very left-leaning, woke, minded. Not only leaders, but also people who are educating our children. And so what the Russians are doing, they've figured out all of the hot buttons, right? So during these midterms, the Russians are already targeting the narrative of Ukraine's assistance being a very polarizing issue, right? So we just had Kevin McCarthy indicating that the Republicans are going to withdraw support, billions of dollars of support that we're providing to Ukraine already, and there's no end in sight, right? And so right after that, the Democrats came out and said, well, we're going to review, all that support as well. And so the Russians are acutely aware of this, and they're just amplifying those tensions using those types of things. And like you mentioned, the Black Lives Matter, they typically target both sides, right? There's no preference. They're not trying to elect a specific person. They're trying to foment discord and disorder and possibly social unrest in America as well as, in other countries.